tell them check out the blog, bro. YouTube channel called MKO. It's pugilism, boxing algorithm. M stand for Marvin and Kevin's initials KO. Yeah. What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we're talking all things boxing. As per usual, like the channel, subscribe to the channel, tune into what we've got going on over here. And, of course, let us know in the comment section what you think about what we talk about in these videos. And right now, without further ado, going to start speaking to you about Kell Brook, or should I say Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook, the special one, Kell Brook versus Terrence Bud Crawford. And, this match is about to take place, this fight about to take place tomorrow. Early hours of the morning, early hours of Sunday morning for us over here in the UK. You guys in USA, you're going to get to see it in prime time. I don't know, probably about 10 o'clock, depending what state you're in. And so this is going to go down tomorrow. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. Definitely can't wait to see this. It was one that kind of... It was one that I kind of heard talks about, bits and pieces. Kell Brook expressed his desire for this fight. I think it was like earlier in the year or last year, something like that. They bumped into each other. I think it was Fury Wilder 2. And, Crawford was up for it. And Brook was, he was telling Brook about, you're going to make weight and all that sort of stuff. And, Kell Brook was on it too. Kell Brook was like, yeah, you're running out of opponents, man. You know what I mean? So both guys are definitely on this. It's one of those where I see it as about that Kell Brook, I believe, will definitely give Terrence Crawford a run for his money. I think it's a fight that will be competitive in parts, parts of this fight. I see it's one of those where it probably will be quite competitive at certain points, but I see Crawford ultimately sort of taking over this fight. And I'm thinking, if Crawford, as long as he ain't missed a step or he ain't regressed in any way, I definitely see this as a fight where I'm picking Terrence Crawford to win this one. I think it will go to points because I believe Kell Brook at this point, he's motivated. The weigh-in, I think, is going on right about now. I haven't seen the weigh-in as yet. I'm not sure if it's happened yet, but as long as Kell Brook has sort of made the weight safely and he's he looks like he's trained right. He's had although the fight hasn't officially been announced for a long time, I think he's been out there. I think it's Fuerteventura in Spain where he's been training. I believe that he's definitely in shape. He's definitely been sort of preparing for this moment. So I think an upset would be huge here in this case, because I think there's Crawford is a pound for pound guy. Brook has with Brook there's a little bit of debate there, based on the I believe a lot of people will be doubting him because of what obviously Triple G done to him. That fight, he took a lot of damage. He was competitive, ironically, against Triple G, but he took a lot of damage. The eye socket got done. He recovered, got in there with Errol Spence Jr. And unfortunately, his other eye socket went and all this. And, he was in a position where he could have been blinded. And, in the fighter meetings, there were, I think Kell Brook had said beforehand in a video interview that he could make Terrence Crawford quit on the stool. And when they got in the interviews pre-fight, Crawford said, well, I've never quit in a fight. I can't say the same for you. And that was, that was definitely, that was true in a way. Brook had that situation, but I suppose if you're faced with blindness, most people will do the same thing. But I think it's one of those where it will have competitive rounds in there, but I think ultimately, Crawford is going to have to work very hard for his victory, but I think he's going to get it. I'm not completely ruling out a Kell Brook upset win, but if he did win, I mean, this would be, on par with a lot of great upsets. Just in terms of the public perception, public perception is not necessarily that Crawford is invincible. It's just that he's just so skilled and, so sublime and so good at what he does that, the thought of anyone beating him is just out of the question. It's just, a lot of people are sort of writing Kell Brook off completely. So an upset would be a big deal in this case. But I think we're going to have a competitive, good 12-round fight. But I just think at this point, I don't think Crawford has lost a step at all, and I just think that skills-wise and everything, ring IQ-wise, I just believe Crawford is just that step ahead. I mean, Brook, he can take some hope from the fights like the old Gamboa fight where he was able to rock Terrence Crawford, and the Kavyauskas fight where I think he was. Yeah, at some point he almost, it was a sort of knockdown. It wasn't counted though, Kavyauskas, and I think Brook can take some courage from the fact that Crawford is looked pound for pound, looked brilliant, but he's been rocked in fights. He's been hurt before, so there's a bit of hope there for Kell Brook in that. He's got the punching power, and I think he'll definitely be. One thing he's got in his favor, although I favor Crawford, is that Brook will be, sort of one of the hardest punching guys that Crawford has ever faced, and that's one way in which if Brook can, I guess try to sort of get to Crawford and hurt him somehow, then he's definitely got a chance. I mean, Crawford is a very adaptable fighter, but I think one thing Brook's got in his favor is that he might, of the two of them, he might actually be the puncher of the two. I think Brook actually might have that advantage that he may well be sort of the harder puncher of the two guys, but I think with Crawford's skill level, it just kind of supersedes and just kind of takes over in a sense. But I think Brook, he's got a little bit of hope there in that he punches very hard. He might be the hardest puncher Crawford's been in the ring with. So I think ultimately, I'm rambling on here, but ultimately I reckon Brook does have a chance. He can punch, and if he can rough Crawford up a bit perhaps, and make it an aggressive fight, and if he can sort of get to him and hurt him, then he does have a chance. But I'm saying, ultimately Kell Brook's got a very slim chance of winning this one. But, I wouldn't write him off completely. But ultimately, in this one, I think we're looking at a Terrence Crawford victory on points. The Crawford stoppage, that's also a possibility. But I'm thinking because of Kell Brook's motivation, and his, just the size, the strength, I don't think there's that rehydration clause either in this fight. So Kell Brook can actually be more comfortable this time because he's not going to have that 10-pound rehydration clause. And I think that might work in his favor as long as he doesn't abuse it and eat too much and come in too heavy. But I think that fact that he doesn't have to keep himself so tight, he's got that little wiggle room with the rehydration, that might work in his favor. So anyway, that's my thoughts on this fight. Let me know what you think below in the comment section, and really looking forward to see Terrence Bud Crawford versus Kell Special K Brook. And I'll see you on the next one, which will be post-fight vid. Until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out. Catch you on the next blog. Leave your thoughts below.